What are the biggest mistakes people make? Here they are, one by one. You saw happy faces. Here are unhappy faces. If you don't create any affinity with your negotiation partner, not the person on your team, but the person sitting across from you, hopefully sitting and looking in the same direction, because now you're aligned. Affinity means you have something in common, right? Like if you fish and you see a picture of him or her catching a really big fish like a marlin, you can say, hey, how'd you Photoshop that into the picture? You know, you can have some a quick moment and a quick chuckle just to break the ice, and you're creating affinity between you two. Now, I'm a squash player, and squash is an English game that's not played as much in the US, but there's a cult group of squash players here. I'm a national champion squash player. So anytime I see a squash racket, you know, it's different than a tennis racket or a racquetball racket. Anytime I see squash racket, get on the plane, sitting first class or coach, doesn't matter. I reach out to them and I say, hey, where do you play? Because that's affinity. So find affinity. Women and women have affinity. Mothers and mothers have affinity. Divorced dads and divorced dads have affinity. Divorced moms and divorced dads sometimes have affinity. Kids and kids have affinity. Dog owners have affinity. Find what you have in common. That's called the principle of affinity. And if you don't create that, it's not being fake, it's just connecting so you align better. Mistake number 2 is you don't have a reason why. Every time you negotiate a term or a price, if you're juggling factors or you're negotiating on price, you got to have a good reason why. And the way you structure a reason why is the word because. Because of the wonderful things he does. That's from The Sound of Music, right? Now, that was the most expensive movie of its time. It's now in full color. Judy Garland was the star in it. And if you've never heard of The Sound of Music, where have you been, right? But because we're off to see the wizard, right? Because of the wonderful things he does, right? That's not a Dr. Seuss book, okay? That's the Wizard of Oz. So just remember the word because. I want this because. I want these terms because. I want lifetime guarantee because. I want this price because. That's a reason why. If you don't have that word because, you don't have a reason why. You can say cuz if you want, C-U-Z like I do in email because it's a lot shorter. Mistake number 3 is no competition. Now, if you're selling something, right, you want a lot of people wanting to buy that. That's competition. If you are buying something, you want a lot of people selling with competition. If I'm buying a car, I'll call all of the BMW dealerships in California, even, you know, on the East Coast, and I'll get some pricing down for the model that I want. I have my eye on a beautiful silver M4 hardtop convertible with a black and red interior. I love my car, but that's what I have my eye on right now and to lease it. So what am I doing? I am going to all the BMW dealerships and seeing if they have special deals. Now, what is their strategy with me? Because I gave a very specific automobile. By the way, if you're a car dealer, come and talk to me. I'm looking for that car. Because that's such a rare car, like my car is a rare BMW. It's a 6 Series convertible, but it's a very, very special 6 Series. And it's older, but it has very few miles because, of course, you know, I'm an internet marketer. I don't drive a lot. And it's an SMG. So that means I'm going to sell it for a lot more money than any other car in its class. That's because I'm the seller. But the car I want to buy, the dealer has a huge advantage because there are very few of the models I want. So in creating competition, then I get a better deal if I'm selling or buying. Okay, are you with me? If there is no competition, then you typically get the better end of the deal. And remember, win-win or no deal.